Hi, I'm Melissa, and this is the Book Break. And today I'm talking to an author you may not have heard of yet, but you're going to be excited you do. He is the author of an adventure thriller series called The Course of Fate, and his name is Steve Dunn Hanson. Now, before I bring Steve in, we're going to watch a quick trailer about The Course of Fate. Hi, Steve. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for letting me be here.
So I loved the first book in this series. I could not put it down. Can you tell us a little bit more about book one, which is Find?
Well, we have a shaman in Mexico who is more connected with ancient times than he is today, and he has a bark paper manuscript that hints to the location of hidden records that were concealed some 2 millennia ago by a Mesoamerican people who were destroyed. And they were hidden up so that they couldn't be found until now. The shaman recruits a professor of archaeology from UCLA who has his own challenges, and he's surrounded by a group of really strange people who intermix and creates quite a challenging situation. They're confronted with dead ends and all kinds of macabre things. Not everyone returns.
Yeah.
And this archaeologist, he really has two questions in mind. Number one is, am I being led by fate? And the second one is, what will we reveal or uncover if we find these things?
Yeah. And one of the things I loved is the series is called The Course of Fate. And so you just brought that up now. And I know that this book, to me, I actually felt like I was getting a bonus book in book one, because about halfway through the book, I was excited because I got some good resolution. And then I got to get another story in it, which I thought was so great. So the first book is Find in the series. Now, the second book is called Shattered. And Shattered is a book that continues with Dr. Nathan Hill, the anthropologist, and carries us on into that story deeper. Tell us a little bit more about Shatter.
Well, Shatter is an extension, in a sense, of Find. What happens in Find directly affects what takes place in Shatter. And I think just capsulizing what Shatter's about, we can look at today in the United States and what's been happening, the divisiveness, the discord, the dishonesty, all of this, where will this lead? And Shatter really kind of takes it from here. We see the United States in a very, very precarious position. We see Jerusalem in a very precarious position. And we see this both on a micro and a macro level. So we're seeing how individuals are affected, and we're seeing how the whole world is being affected. And I think that there's some very compelling polling scenes, scenarios in there. And the idea and the thought and the hope is that it will get people thinking both about the context in which we live, but as well as their own lives.
Yeah. And, another thing that I really enjoyed about this series is I could tell that you did a lot of research, and this was stuff that I happened to ask one of my friends that is an anthropologist about, and she was like, wow, he clearly researched this. And you must have traveled too. Tell us a little bit about your research process.
Well, I'm not sure I could have written these books 30 years ago. My research assistant just went all over the place to help and assist me, and his name is Google. And what was available on Google and the ease in accessing made it. So in terms of time, I would guess that I spent anywhere from a third to half of my total time writing in doing the research. And
Yeah,
I've been, by the way, I've been to these places, at least been in the areas, been to Guatemala, Mexico, Jerusalem, and so forth.
yeah. And I think you did a great job bringing these places to life in these books. So I've got to ask more about now book 3. So book 3 is called Gather. And I'd love for you to give us a little bit of a hint, not too much because it's the conclusion, but give us a little bit of a hint of what we see in Gather.
All 3 books have a connection with scriptural prophecy. And the 3rd book here is the culmination, and we're seeing signs all over the place, but I'm not sure people are recognizing them. We're going to see, it's almost apocalyptic, in fact. You're going to see catastrophes, including a pandemic that makes COVID-19 look like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
But again, we're seeing on a micro and a macro level, we're going to see cataclysmic things take place, but we're going to see mega changes taking place in individuals, both for good and for bad.
Yeah. And it's interesting that your book really does look at the scriptures, and a lot of this is coming from them. And, just the other day, my own son says, Mom, it looks like we've got the second coming soon. And, if I had read this series, 10, 15, 20 years ago, I don't think that it would hit so close to home as it does now. But one of the things that I also really enjoyed about it is it's not scary and horror in the sense that like doom and gloom. It's like there's hope. So yeah, bad things are happening in this world, but the Course of Faith, this series will help us to also remember there's hope and there are good people out there too. And it keeps us on our toes. So I absolutely love that. So I've got to ask you, Steve, are you planning on writing any more adventure books?
Well, the answer is I have at least one more in mind. This one would be more science fiction, but I look at it kind of as my opus. So yes, I have intention of writing more, and if I live another 15 or 20 years, who knows how many I'll produce.
Well, I hope you do. That would be great. So thank you so much for joining us, Steve. And we can find your books on Amazon, right?
Yes, they're on Amazon, both softcover and ebook.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And everyone can also check out your website and social media, and we'll put that up on the screen. And everyone, thanks for joining us on the Book Break. We'll see you next time.